Okay. Question.
I was vegan for 10 years.
You were?
And then I became vegetarian. And then I started eating fish. What went wrong?
Well, I'm gonna. You're not the only person that I've met that's done that.
Yeah.
But the person that I know is now vegan. What made you do that? You will only know the answer.
Yeah, I think the message,
Trifecta.
I forgot on that.
Fair enough.
I think that's the answer.
Okay, yeah, and like all the stalls today were full of positive information, positive and awesome information. As I said, if you want some help transitioning, give me a shout. Does anybody else have any questions?
Question just about indigenous cultures.
Sure.
That, well, most of the indigenous cultures that I've come into contact with or that I've researched know about have some kind of connection with the animal kingdom as a cycle of life.
Sure.
I'm not promoting killing animals, but they're
It's kind of spiritual as well, isn't it?
yeah, like a friend of mine spent some time with some Native North American people, and they said that there was that idea in the culture that one of the animals would literally kind of almost step forwards. It's a really interesting concept that if we are working with our environment and with the earth and with that sort of spiritual nature, that there is a connection to the animal kingdom. So I guess I'm just interested in that idea of the circle of life.
Yeah, no, you've touched on two subjects there. The first point about indigenous people. To start off with, I'm going to try to convert those that have access to supermarkets and access to vegan foods, because I've never met indigenous people really, you know what I mean? So I can't really say you should do this, but what I can do is I can say that anybody who has the choice, goes into a supermarket, goes into a shop, has the choice not to eat dead animals, or has the choice between dead animals or plants. At that point, you know what I mean? They should change. Spiritual, indigenous, is it part of spiritual practice? We don't really know, but what we do know is that those animals have brains and nervous systems, and so personally I can relate to them. I wouldn't want somebody to kill me for a spiritual reason. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you were saying about the circle of life. I think that's constructed because in that if the circle of life is real or not, doesn't mean we have a choice to be part of it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Any more questions? Hey. Sure. You say you struggled with it?
Yeah, I stuck with it.
You stuck with it?
Fine with it.
Yeah.
But in terms of like lifestyle choices, like shopping and makeup, sort of clean products, what sort of small steps I can make to slowly change that?
So that's a good question. So and I usually try to talk about that. So I always suggest that people change food first. Food is the big one. Once you get people to change food, you can change the clothing that they buy, the places that like the stuff that hasn't been tested on animals, that doesn't contain animal products. Where would I start? Just start a bit at a time. So shampoos. Where do you live, if you don't mind me asking? You live in Plymouth. So Africa. Do you know Africa? Have you been there? So everything. So I buy all my stuff in Africa. I'm very lucky that we have a vegan shop in Plymouth. Shampoo from Africa. Toothpaste that hasn't been tested on animals. Africa. Sun cream that hasn't been tested on animals, Africa. You can also get it online if you're a little bit away from towns, you live in, you know what I mean, you can research. In fact, Africa deliver to your house nowadays, so everyone can use them as a resource. And yeah, and it's up to you if you want to carry on using the stuff that has been tested on animals or has animal products. Up to you. That's up, like, as long as you see, you know, as a using it out. If you can afford to just get rid of it and not use animal products, do that. But if you can't, then just use them and get rid of them. But again, I am at a stage now where I can afford to just, if I did find something had an animal product, I give it away or chuck it away because I don't want to put it in my body. But I can't make that decision for anybody else. And then, yeah, then the clothing, you would gradually just bring in what you can. Wear out your shoes if you can, if you can't afford to buy new ones and stuff like that. And it's basically finding your own way of dealing with things. You know what I mean? If I can't wear lower shoes because it looks weird. I think it's a bit odd to put a cow on my foot. bluntly, but do you know what I mean? But we're brought up to wear cows on our feet in schools because you look smart if you've got a dead cow on your foot. It's like, no, you don't. You look like a bag. You look like somebody you're carrying a bit of a corpse. Why would you do that? No one does that really. Not in 2067, they don't.
You know what I think it is? I think it's habit.
Sure.
I've always worn.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, yeah, I am being a bit putting down.
Leather
Yeah.
shoes. You've always had leather shoes. You get cart shoes. Blah blah.
Yeah.
I think people just wear them by habit. I don't
Sure.
And it's also it's funny the leather thing. 'Cause it's actually a status. You go into a shop and you go, what's leather?
Yeah.
How good a quality leather is it?
Yeah.
Is it real leather? And now I go to a shop and into a shoe shop and I go, what's not leather?
Yeah.
Think about like rich dog as well. A lot of leathers from dogs as well. Say it loud because the people dog leather. People love their pets but eat animals.
There is a dog leather. Is there such a thing?
That is true. That is it. That is cognitive dissonance. You're disconnected from certain animals being used as products of clothing, and then another animal. If someone said this is, I've got some Labrador leather trainers, you'd be like, whoa, you're.
Yeah. And it goes back to what that lady said. It's not the people's fault that they're doing
No, it's
it.
cognitive dissonance.
Exactly.
It's a disconnection from what's actually there.
Yeah.
And I think it's just what you're used to.
Yeah.
You know, busy lives, rush around, you're not really in the moment, and then, you know, you've always had leather shoes, you go to shop and buy leather shoes.
Yeah.
If we did everything by tradition, we'd still be in the dark
That's what I'm
ages.
talking about.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, it's not intentional.
No.
It's just what they're used to, and it's
Yeah.
just making a point of thinking, asking yourself the question, do I want to carry on?
Yeah.
And you can plant seeds, you can plant questions with them, saying, have you ever thought about it if it was a dog? And kind of like, as I say, there's a really great speaker, he talks about giving a people hand up instead of a hand down. Do you know what I mean? Like you can have this us and them mentality with non-vegans, like, you're evil. Well, no, you're not necessarily evil, you're just not as ethical as you could be. You're not informed, you didn't know, and you're stuck in those traditions.
Shaming doesn't always work.
No, it doesn't, and there are certain cases it does, but it
in some cases, but in some cases it can leave a bad taste in the mouth, and rather than think what I do is kind of unethical, vegans are kind of
exactly,
It can do that, it can do that.
Sure.
I'm vegan, I'll be a but
Proud.
Cool. Fair enough.
Like you said, it's all about making your own choices, and you can offer information, and then people got to decide themselves when they're ready. You know? It's a journey, you know. I think everybody comes to it. It's their own place.
Very good.
Don't push it. You know, what you push away.
So it's different people. Some people want to be pushed. Some people will take that and think, yeah, I'll do that, and then other people will be like, nah, you.
I think you'll find more people who not want to be pushed. They want to find it themselves. If you can convince them they've found it themselves, then
That's true, actually. Yeah.
I'm gonna grab this lady's question, but we can definitely chat more after if you want to. Hi.
It's actually a question,
Oh.
but it was just you were talking about compassion, and that's right as well. It goes beyond compassion. It's actually respect for the animals, because as other beings. Because if you look on YouTube or wherever, you see all these cute pictures of kittens or lambs or something doing something. And people go, oh yeah, exactly. And people go, oh yeah, that's really sweet and so on. But if you also learn, you'll see that they're enjoying the same sort of activities. They hit me really hard yesterday because there's a thing going now of sheep jumping up on rails and straw and playing. You see, loads of people see it. And I was looking at that and I thought, that's exactly how children are doing exactly what we do. I don't want to be.
That's a very good point that you've raised, is that they are sentient, thinking, feeling individuals. Like the majority of us have had pets and like had bonds with them, and all animals, the majority of animals have that ability to do that.
It was that cognitive dissonance that
Well, it's that same thing. If you were to get someone who eats meat to sit down with a cow and stroke it and play with it, and then say, well, later on, my friend, we haven't got any food here. Here's a big knife. Will you cut its throat and then eat it? Will they do that? No, they won't. It's maybe some will, maybe. But I doubt the average person will pick up a big knife and cut a cow's throat to then butcher it and create a meal out of it. But because it's made as a commodity, it's not. when you buy an animal from the supermarket, it's no longer an animal. It's a product. It's almost like plastic, is the only way I can describe it. Is people look at it as something that is an inanimate object. It never was a being. It never will be a being. If you can get past that, it was a being that knew it was alive, that knew what was going on to it, that was conscious of its own suffering. And I don't think many people would be able to butcher that animal and kill it. And if you're not willing to do that, then why are you paying other people to do it?
Yeah, it's very, very valid points, but we have to, you have to pass on that message to people and say it to them. But I've in the past been really aggressive, like I said earlier, been aggressive with it. But you have to it's teaching them basically. Yeah. It's kind of like I sometimes say it's like.
Well, even that could be condescending.
But that's
teaching.
Well, if they didn't know about protein, it is essentially teaching them, isn't it? You're showing them.
Well, yeah, but it's that same thing of they all know that it's an animal and it gets killed, but it's kind of disconnected from that cognitive dissonance. That's the big issue, because they look at it as a product. They know it was an animal, but they just don't use that information to build a constructive thing of that was an animal. Do you know what I mean by that?
I know, yeah.
But we're also programmed from a very young age. I mean, I'm reading a book at the minute called Our Children and Other Animals, and it basically talks about how, as society, we're conditioned from youngsters that actually these animals are food. You can go and watch Peppa Pig while eating a sausage roll.
This stuff grows. The longer I've been vegan, when I see a piece of meat, I don't see something in brackets with food on it. It no longer looks like that. It looks like a piece of meat. If you were to cut my arm off,
flesh.
Look at that. That's what you would be looking at.
But what I'm saying is, obviously, if those people get those messages throughout their life as they're growing up, we're very impressionable, and we take on what we're told is that you need to eat this is why we eat these animals, to actually then re-unprogram that way of thinking. For some people, it might just be instant. For other people, it takes a little bit longer.